Ashugalan Sagittarius. I am Ishka Medicine, your Arivern for this reading. This is a lunar reading for May 4th, happening between May 4th and June 3rd, 2019. So let's see, what's going on here. Oh, the Shaman of Tradition. The Shaman of Tradition really wants you to learn, to get acclimated, to get used to the traditions, a way of being, to build good traditions in your life. The Shaman of Tradition is here to bring clarity, is here to help you move forward into a new way of being, is here to help you transition. It's here to help you gain a new perspective. It's here to help you gain new ideas, new thought forms, new conceptualized realities. It's here to help you create. That's what the Shaman of Tradition is here to do. It's here to transition you into creation. So this all points to me about hard times that may have been going on in the past, that now the Shaman of Tradition is assisting you in creating certain, learning about certain traditions in your life, certain customs, certain ways of being. Could be talking about education. It could be talking about getting an education. It could be talking about growth and nourishment. This could be a great time for you to be the student. I think that is the counsel of spirit, is for you to be the student and for you to ultimately learn the customs and traditions of a culture, and then to transcend them, and then to grow, to embed yourself into it eventually, and transition, free your mind. Like, there's this whole process with the Shaman of Tradition that's going on. It's helping you to grow, ultimately speaking, and wanting to bring in certain people and things into your environment that will nurture that growth. They'll give you information. You'll receive certain messages, certain information from people and from different forms of consciousness in the world. If it's trees, if it's the mountain, if it's the winds, if it's rain, if it's animals, if it's other plants, if it's the stone nation, if it's other people. So be open to your environment, because the shaman connects with the consciousness that is all around it, not just people, but also other forms of consciousness. So be aware of the other forms of consciousness that are in your environment. And this may sound crazy to some people, but hey, even inanimate things like vehicles and stickers have a form of consciousness. Keep an open mind. You've got the Page of Bows that's talking about going for aspirations. But then there's also this, I'm just learning about all this right now too. It's a new time for you. It's a new time to be adventurous. It's a new time to be enthusiastic, to grow inspiration, to get inspired. I'm learning some things that are going to be very inspirational for me. So, that the Page of Bows is supporting the Shaman of Tradition here. So the traditions that you're getting ready to learn, they're going to teach you. They're going to help you. They're going to revitalize you. They're going to inspire you. They're going to drive you. They're going to help you move forward in life. But you've got to be willing to be in the place of the student at this time in your life in order for you to receive and achieve. Okay, receive and achieve. Look, that just came up on the spot. So let's talk about communications. I've got the Dancer of Lies. I've got the Dancer of Lies coming up. Okay. Which tells me that there's going to be some false actions going on. There's going to be some false actions going on. The Dancer of Lies really talks about getting to the truth. of your life, of what's holding you back. The Dancer of Lies says that there are false illusions, burdens, lies, deceit that is clouding your judgment, um, that is weighed on your chest. You know, you ever heard that saying, "Gotta get it off your chest"? This stuff is on your chest. You know, it's weighed on your chest. It's obscuring your vision. It's causing obstruction in your life. You're at this crossroads where it's like you're on your way to creating an entirely new life for yourself, um, Sagittarius. But there's certain things in your mind that are holding you back from that reality. And chances are, with the Dancer of Lies in upright position, you're going to be able to see those lies for what they are. And you're going to be able to free yourself of those lies. Okay. Um, you know what? This is very much supported by the Four of Arrows here, because there were some to drop hints at you, Sagittarius, and you may know what I'm speaking about. To drop hints at you, there were some lies that were told in order to put some things to rest. There were some lies that were told, that were said in your life in order to put some things to rest, in order to let some things die. So you didn't detach from it in a truthful way. There was some deceit that happened here, okay? And it wasn't detached from in a truthful, honest manner. It was more like, I'm just going to tell you whatever so that you can get off of my back. So that, because it's connected to conflict and it's connected to competition. It's connected to conflict and it's connected to competition. Okay. It's connected to a lot of warfare and changes and dynamics that were going on in your life. It's connected to divine purpose. There was some definite deceit that was going on here. What's being put to rest in this card? Just the, I don't want to deal with this anymore, so I'm going to say what I need to say, but not really being honest and truthful. And so the Dancer of Lies um, wants you to free yourself of that burden because it's holding you back. Because the truth of the matter is that there is enlightenment and expansion and growth and prosperity happening for you on the other side of it. You may not think so right now, Sagittarius. You may not see it now. It may not, you may not believe it now, because maybe all you can see, maybe, is what would happen if you told the truth, if you got more honest and truthful with yourself, and if you allowed yourself to be freed and get those things off of your chest. Chances are there's some goodness waiting on the other side of all of this for you. Like, if you just gave yourself permission to get this stuff off of your chest, to say what you need to say and free yourself so that you can see what is waiting for you on the other side of all of this. So, this card to me, this the message here, is that it was self-inflicting, ultimately speaking. It was self-inflicting. And maybe it had to do with the competition. Maybe, maybe you were part of something, and maybe you told a lie in order for you to be able to, you know, um, in order for you to be able to get something that you were trying to get. Maybe it has to do with that, or for some different reason, but it has to do with some sort of competition that was going on where, you were competing for something in your life, okay, and perhaps you might have, perhaps You might have won based on a lie and not based on the truth, and then maybe it's time for you to let that go. Maybe it's time for you to free yourself of it so that you can be able and open to the opportunity that's waiting on the other side of all this for you. So I've got the spirit of healing happening in your area of aspiration and transmutation. And I tell you what, I will tell you, I can see with this card that you might be very resistant to the to your own healing process. You might be very resistant to your own healing process. You might be very resistant to change. You might be too caught up in what you're losing versus the fact that, the spirit of healing, in my mind, spirit of healing comes up because what you have is corrupted. What you have is based on corruption and contamination and adulteration. It's based on a lie. And the spirit of healing comes up wanting to heal that and alter your reality so that you can go for whatever your true purpose was to be, not for what you ended up getting out of a space of dishonesty, Sagittarius. Because then I get the 10 of Vessels, who talks about happiness and fulfillment. But now I have the 6 of Vessels, who talks about nostalgia and reunion and going back into the past. Did you have some very traumatic past? Was this like a repeat? There's something here that's very similar. That's very similar to what was going on. There's something happened in your past that was very similar to what was going on in this situation that caused you to be dishonest when going after what it was that you were going after, Sagittarius. There's some wounding that happened here where maybe you lost, where maybe you suffered, traumatically. And maybe you told yourself, I would never do that again. Or maybe you told yourself I would never have that experience again. Or maybe you didn't, but just the fear of it, the trauma of it, the wounding of it, the triggering of it. It's wounding. It's horrible. It's hurtful to you, and it's keeping you away from being able to heal. And the issue that I have with that personally is that, to me, it seems like, there is totality and absolution waiting for you on the other side of all of this. And you might be keeping yourself away. I get that sometimes we have to say what we need to say in order to get by. I get it. Sometimes we got to say some things that we regret, that we don't mean to do when it comes to survival, when it comes to getting whatever. I totally understand that. And Sagittarius, the 10 of Vessels to me says that there is fulfillment waiting for you on the other side of the trauma. But there's this resistance to healing, Sagittarius, that is keeping you away from embracing that healing. So what do I see with the middle finger here? A lot of repressed energy. I see a lot of submission. I see a lot of maybe tyranny. I see a lot of sadness, and I see a lot of pain. And it's keeping you away from being sovereign to your truth, Sagittarius. It's keeping you away from being sovereign to your truth and sovereign to your creative purpose and sovereign to yourself. That's what's happening. We're talking about the middle finger here. We're talking about the dominant finger. We're talking about the biggest one. It's keeping you away from being sovereign to your truth, your purpose, divine purpose, your creativity. It's keeping you away from all of that. Okay. So I really want you to take a second to reconsider. Okay. I really want you to reconsider. Okay. Because there's a lot of repressed energy that I'm seeing here. Lots of things that need to be healed from your past that you have yet to heal. And perhaps maybe if you worked on healing that, that could help you deal with some of this stuff that's going on in your life right now. So for emotions, for relationships, for psychic. I've got the Shaman of Foresight happening in reverse, which speaks to me about pessimism and doubt and fear and an inability to see, once again, past the obstruction and the obscurities happening. You know, uh, like a mind that is very clouded and is unable to see the higher perspective. It's not able to perceive the future outcome. It doesn't have faith or belief in a future outcome. There's a disbelief going on there, Sagittarius. But then you've got the stag right beneath that. And then you've got the king of stones right beneath that, which speaks to me, which tells me that, there's there's a lot of material aspects connected to your feelings and emotions right now. Sagittarius, does some of this have to do with the person that might be like a king of stones for you, might be like an older gentleman, um, someone who's very mature, someone who is very money, they're very frugal, they may be very savvy with money, like they know what they're doing, financially, they might be financially savvy, they really know how to gain, like create material security in their lives. They may be very protective of the physical, of their material things. I wouldn't say greedy, but I would definitely say protective, and I would definitely say, they're protective of their boundaries, of their space with the King of Stones. They're making sure that nobody invades. Like, for some of you, this might have to do it. For some of you, maybe this has to do with that energy. Someone that's really big. I mean, with the stag energy, we're looking at building strength in the physical here. There's sort of a progression happening for me here too, that spirit is showing me right now. You can let me know what you think about this for some of you Sagittarians. The King of Stones builds material security in life, creates material security, and then the stag helps you to grow by helping you to transcend, helping you to become sovereign in your life, giving you the strength to take on a place of leadership in your life, take on a place of sovereignty in your life, Sagittarius, to be able to make the system work for you as opposed to you having to work for the system, to really be able to transcend, become the star player in your existence. But then the Shaman of Foresight, I'm blocked. My mind is blocked. It may be that you might be so very emotionally connected to the physical things in your life, and your emotions and your feelings might have been so much focused on the physical and sensational that you're not able to see the higher perspective. So when certain challenges come your way, you're not able to adapt to them. I'll try to say this in a different way for you. Sagittarius, you have the gift of foresight. That means you have the gift of being able to see the future. If only you have faith and believe in that vision that you see, okay? And when you can see what your future is likely to be like and what you're striving for and what you're going after, you can keep a cool head. Because no longer do you have to be part of the struggle. The Shaman of Foresight shows up at a time when you no longer have to be a part of the struggle or the challenges. And if there are any struggles or challenges coming your way, you can keep a cool head because you know that light and truth and love and happiness is also coming your way too. You see that in your future. But the Shaman of Foresight in reverse to me talks about an inability to be able to see that. And because I'm unable to see that, I'm unable to adapt to certain conflicts that happen in my life. People come at me saying hurtful things and hurtful words, And because I'm unable to see ahead of all of that, I'm giving my energy to what's happening right now in front of me. And then I just got this idea, I just heard something going on with, like, I don't know, jealousy, people competing with you, people coming after you. Sagittarius, people trying to like tear you down, or like, because with greater fame or fortune comes greater responsibility, right? And so you've kind of you're reaching this point, this sort of climactic point, and it's like maybe there's lots of more competition, or maybe there's lots more responsibility, or maybe there's lots more conflict happening, or a lot less conflict happening for you, or a lot more, or different, or simply a different kind of conflict. How about that? A different kind of conflict and a different kind of struggle that's keeping you away from, and that is like clouding your mind. Like you're not able to see past all of that, that there's a bigger focus here. There's a higher perspective happening here for you, Sagittarius, excuse me. Um, um, with this reading, it's like, feeling relationship wise, my emotional connection. It's like I've transcended the physical. I've created physical security in my life. I've transcended that. But for some reason, I've got all these conflicts happening around me, and I'm unable to foresee my future. I'm unable to foresee a good future through all this struggle and this conflict. It's obstructing my future. So the Dancer of Inspiration, interesting. That's what comes up as your Earth card. The Dancer of Inspiration, which talks about being uninspired because it's in reverse. So it talks about being uninspired. Wow. We just talked about an inability to be able to see over the obstacles and the troubles and these challenges that are, on Earth, on the ground. Maybe being a little too earthy, being too grounded to be able to see them in some ways. You built a lot of good stuff for yourself. And now we got the Dancer of Inspiration. You're not able to get inspired. You're not able to get that higher perspective. You're not able to see that focus heading towards the future. You're not able to be filled with that ambition, to be revitalized, to have strength in your convictions, to see the higher perspective, to see over, to get the higher vantage point, and to see, where you're trying to go in all of this. Because the Dancer of Inspiration, its actions are based on something it is inspired to make happen. And the Dancer of Inspiration becomes very focused, but with it in reverse, it's like scattered all over the place. I cannot get above the mundane. I can't get above the physical. It's funny how we were just having that. We were just talking about that. And then that's the card that comes up. Now I've got the Four of Pentacles that talks about me being very tied down to responsibility, Sagittarius. Very tied down to responsibility. I mean, it's very obvious that you're going to make some things happen for yourself here. You are. You're going to make some things happen for yourself here. But it's tying you down. It's tying you down to some degree. Like you might be too caught up in it, because the Four of Stones talks about a time of fulfillment. The King of Stones talks about a time of fulfillment. The Stag speaks about a moment of fulfillment. Like these are fulfillment, happiness. These are all fulfilling energies. The Stag, the King of Stones, and the Four of Stones. I mean, these are all things that have been fulfilled. Okay, which means that you're ready to ascend and move on to the next level. But you can't see above the physical. And it may be that you have just gotten so caught up in the physical, and you've mastered that, and you've got that down. But that being said, when you get caught up in the physical, and no disrespect to the physical, no disrespect to the mundane, all that I'm trying to say is that that can be very stagnating to a degree. It can trap us. You've done very good for yourself, but now it's time for you to ascend to the next level? Can you ascend to the next level if you are afraid of change, for example? If you are um, if you are in stagnation because you want sameness, because the King of Stones and the Four of Stones, to me, those are very slow moving energies. Yet the Shaman of Foresight and the Dancer of Inspiration are fast moving energies. Okay. And so there is this need, there's this need to be slow and be pragmatic and to plan out things. But that being said, you still have to be able to get above and see above all of the physical. You got to get a higher perspective. You got to get a higher vantage point so that you know and see where you're going. So you can't always be focused on what's directly in front of you. Okay, and this is what I'm getting with these cards here. You can't always be focused on what's directly in front of you. Okay, so overall, Sagittarius, um, overall, there seems to be some dynamics. Nothing is like certain with this spread. There are some ups and downs and some ebbs and flows that are going on here for you throughout this lunar process, throughout this lunar month. Other parts of your life need to be healed. These parts of your life need to be healed too, but it may be just in a different way. You know, um, uh, because I'm talking emotional healing. I'm talking about emotional healing, and being able to tap into your dream side, your psychic side, you know. Um, uh, but my physical life, I've gotten so comfortable with the physical world and the sensations. But I've transcended all of that. So now it's time for me to understand the gift of foresight. So there's lots of dynamics and there's lots of transition that's going to be going on through the progression of this lunar month cycle. Overall, I think if you keep an open mind, like the shaman of tradition suggests, this energy will help you if you keep an open mind, and if you because the shaman of tradition talks about a conceptualized idea, our vision, our clear thought, something being conceived inside your mind that has to do with your future, and growing that. And I think that if you keep that in your mind, I think that if you keep that at the forefront of your mind, everything else will play itself out for you very well, Sagittarius. I think so. Okay. Um, that's all that Spirit has for me to relay to you. So if you have any other questions, let me know. If it's revolved around this spread, let me know. I'll see if Spirit may be able to answer them. But otherwise, trust your intuition always, because the spirits are open to you just as they are to me. I'm just a messenger. That's all. I love you very much, Sagittarius. Take care of yourself, and I hope to see you next reading. I got Lenore.